Welcome to Fenway Park as we get ready tonight for Game 2 of the 4-game series between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Boston Red Sox. Last night, the Rays were able to take Game 1 of the series, and as a result, the Red Sox lead is just half a game over the Tampa Bay Rays going into tonight's Game 2. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo, and welcome to Red Sox Baseball. Well, many reports today say that Dustin Pedroia is very close to signing a $100 million deal long-term to stay with the Red Sox. Seems to be a very good deal for both sides, Dustin Pedroia and the ownership, as the Red Sox certainly have a terrific player in Dustin Pedroia, and he's having a very good year for the Red Sox this year. This season hitting at .308 with 6 homers and 57 RBIs. He's played in 100 games this season, tied for the Major League lead in that category, leads the Sox with 18 go-ahead RBIs and 11 game-winning RBIs. A .996 fielding percentage, only 2 errors and 454 total chances, and at home, all he's doing is hitting .351. We welcome in Jerry Remy. And Jerry, tonight is John Lester on the mound for the Red Sox after a little extra rest.
Yes, they set him back a couple of days after the All-Star break to give him some extra rest. They try to do that every year around the All-Star break. Give him a little break, a few more days to get mentally prepared and physically prepared for the second half of the season. And, of course, you rest your legs, you rest your arm. Mentally, you try to rest yourself a little bit, and that's what they've done with John Lester. Now, last time out, I thought he pitched a very good ball game against the Oakland A's. You can see the number 6 in the third, 3 runs, 6 hits. He did walk 3 in that game, but had 4 strikeouts to 100 pitches. And I thought it was a good outing for John. And they're going to need a good outing tonight because this ball club is playing very well, Tampa Bay, and they need him to come up like an ace and try to get the Red Sox that lead back in the American League.
Now, the Red Sox will be looking to win tonight. They'll also be looking to dodge the raindrops. A lot of weather came through the area this afternoon. A lot of wind, rain, but it appears we're going to start on time tonight. We're back with more right after this. Of the 4-game series between the Rays and the Red Sox. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo. Well, tonight, John Lester takes the hill. What a start to the season Lester had. The Red Sox lefty was 6-0, but since then he's gone 2-6. His pitching coach, Juan Nieves, had a chance to catch up with Jenny Dell as part of our Geico Quote of the Day.
So John Lester initially supposed to pitch on Sunday, got pushed back to start tonight. He said there was some midseason stuff he was working through. Could you explain a little bit what that stuff is and how you feel he is coming into tonight?
Well, actually, it's almost like a little breather, too, in a sense, giving a guy a couple extra days. working through some kinks in his, body-wise. Everybody needs a little time, and nothing major, but just give him a little breather. He was the guy that started the first game, and he's been pitching for a long time now, since February. So we figured out, give the guy that has been carrying us for, the number one starter for us throughout the whole season, give him a little extra time, and what better chance to give Workman and all these kids a great chance to pitch. So in a sense, we almost are giving the guys that need some time and some rest, a little breathe, I call it recharging, and giving all these guys, the other guys, a chance to be exposed and pitching in big situations.
Well, this bunch of Red Sox looking to stay in first place. Just a half-game lead heading into this game tonight against the Rays. We're back with the first pitch right after this.
Your Northeast Mazda dealers, Salem 5 Bank and Pedroia's World, Kia of New England, Infinity, McDonald's of Boston, Toyota's official site for deals by Toyota.com. Vermont Cows, making you the best dairy. Learn more at VermontDairy.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Now the Red Sox and Rays getting ready for Game 2 of the series. We had quite a storm come through here late this afternoon. The tarp was on the field for a good amount of the afternoon, and about an hour before this first pitch of the ball game, they took the tarp off. Field's in very good condition, but a lot of rain did fall here. They are anticipating perhaps some more before the night's end. But right now, comfortable conditions. The lights are on here at Fenway Park. And, Jerry, all the news today about Dustin Pedroia and the pending $100 million contract.
Nice, isn't it? Nice for the Red Sox, nice for Dustin Pedroia. He's the guy that they want to make the face of this franchise. They want players that play like him, that attempt the game like him, go about their business like him. And certainly he's going to be rewarded for what he's done and what he's going to do in the future for the Boston Red Sox. So good deal for Dustin, good deal for the Red Sox.
Well, the Red Sox about to take the field tonight. A very important game here after losing last night's game. They have just a half-game lead atop the American League East, and here they come. Well, as the Red Sox take the field, let's check out the Tampa Bay Rays starting 9 tonight. Leading it off and in center field is Desmond Jennings with Ben Zobrist at second base. Evan Longoria is at third base. He bats third with Will Myers in the cleanup spot. Myers was off last night, back in there tonight. Matt Joyce, the DH. Chanel Escobar moves up the lineup. He's at shortstop. James Loney bats out of the 7th spot, hitting at .314 on the year, at .364 on the road. Jose Molina's in the lineup tonight. He does the catching, batting 8th. And Sean Rodriguez in left field bats 9th. Now let's head down the pipe with FWM to take a look at tonight's season's numbers for John Lester. His 21st start of the year, coming in at 8-6, a 4.58 earned run average, 125 2/3 innings with 103 strikeouts. Opponents hitting at 260 against the Rays. Lifetime, he's 11-9 against Tampa Bay.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you on NESN by Southwest Airlines, and they are 9th in the American League with 56 errors in 101 games. Jose Iglesias will be at third base. Stephen Drew, the shortstop. Dustin Pedroia at second. Mike Napoli, the first baseman. Left to right, Mike Karp, Shane Victorino, and Daniel Nava. And Jared Saltalamacchia doing the catching for John Lester.
Home plate umpire tonight is Tony Randazzo with Larry Vanover at first base, the crew chief Brian Gorman at second base, and Manny Gonzalez is the umpire at third. Tonight's game is available in Spanish by pushing the SAP button on your television remote. Enjoy the game.
Buenas noches, amigos.
As we mentioned, right now, comfortable conditions at Fenway Park. 72 degrees to get it started. Breeze in from left field at just 6 miles per hour. A chance of more showers in the area as the night goes on.
Yeah, it's not real warm at the ballpark, but very humid at the ballpark tonight. And hopefully the rain stays away for the remainder of the evening.
Well, John Lester looking to bounce back tonight. He's lost his last 2 starts at Seattle and at Oakland as part of that lengthy road trip for the Red Sox. And his first start at home since he pitched against San Diego, which was a no decision back on July 3rd. Prior to that, he had won back-to-back games at Detroit and at home against Toronto. He comes into tonight's game with an 8-6 mark as Desmond Jennings stands in on the right side to get it started. First pitch of the ball game is going to miss for ball 1, and we are underway. Jennings sports a .268 batting average, 11 homers, and 40 runs batted in.
Jennings, a .364 hitter against Lester with a home run. Quickly ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes.
That's in there for a strike, and it's 2-1. 11-9 in his career against Tampa Bay. In fact, has a losing record individually here against Tampa, 6-7 with a 4.41 ERA at Fenway Park. Picks up the inside corner. It's 2-2. He's got 151 career strikeouts against the Rays. That's the most against any major league club. As Ben Zobrist waits on deck. Jennings fouling it off, protects the plate. It seems very a good indicator for John Lester is whether or not he's got that good cutter going, the sharp cutter.
Yeah, so far it's been all fastballs, and that last pitch a changeup that Jennings fouled off. But of course, when he's got the good cutter, it's of course down and in against those right-handed hitters.
Lester had started, then stops.
2 signs thrown down there, a fastball away and then a changeup, and I think they were caught in between what they were going to throw. Back to the fastball away. No. Back to the changeup.
And this is up and away. Ball 3, full count. With the loss last night, Red Sox now 9-4 against Tampa Bay in the season series. And a swing and a miss. Lester strikes out Jennings to start the night.
First strikeout coming on the fastball by John Lester. A long at bat, 7 pitches, but the winner is Lester in that particular at bat. The pitch zone on NESN is brought to you by Amica. Amica Insurance, great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, or life insurance.
One down here in the first inning. Zobrist will take a pitch outside for ball one. Ben had a good night last night. 3 hits in the contest. He hits at .269 coming in. 7 homers and 49 runs batted in. So this is the last time the Tampa Bay Rays are at Fenway Park this season.
I don't remember the second time they came in.
It was brief. It was 2 games, and it was in June, 18th and 19th of June. So this is the last time they come in here. Red Sox still have to go to Tampa Bay.
That's really strange in their own division to be done by July with Tampa Bay here at Fenway Park.
Zobrist to right. Navas started back. Now comes in to make the catch. 2 down.
That time the changeup for Lester to get that fly ball to Daniel Nava. Jacoby Ellsbury with the night off tonight. Nothing physically wrong with him, but just getting the game off.
Well, the Red Sox did lose last night, but not because of anything their starter did. Brandon Workman pitched well. 6 innings, giving up 2 runs. Had kind of a tough first inning, but really settled down well in his second straight. Very good start.
Yeah, he's had 2 very good outings. One against the Oakland Athletics, and of course last night against Tampa Bay.
11 Longoria batting here with 2 down in the first inning. .277, 20 homers, 55 runs batted in. Sits safely in 5 straight games. John Lester's key matchup tonight is brought to you by People's United Bank. And then Longoria 10 for 47 against Lester at .213. Does have 2 home runs against John. That'll drop in there on the curveball.
Now we've seen about every pitch so far now, from Lester, the fastball, the cut fastball, the changeup, and now the curveball on the outside part of the plate to Longoria.
Strike 3 call. Longoria knew it. Takes with him the second K for John Lester. Sox are coming up. Good game to come to. Red Sox and Rays, game 2 of the 4-game series.
Pretty good seats too, right about 10 rows behind the Red Sox dugout.
Roberto Hernandez on the mound. His number is brought to you by Nissan. 19th start, 5 and 10 with a 4.90 earned run average. Opponents hitting at .277 against Hernandez. Shane Victorino leading it off tonight in the absence of Jacoby Ellsbury, just getting the night off. So Victorino, who spent so many years in center field with the Philadelphia Phillies. It's a .285, 4 homers and 26 RBIs on the year. So let's take strike one. Rare night off for Jacoby Ellsbury. Victorino was 0 for 4 in last night's game, and so far 2 for 11 on the homestand. Turns on this and grounds it foul.
Now from Hernandez tonight, they'll see the fastball, the slider, and the changeup. A former member of the Cleveland Indians under a different name.
Yeah, he was Fausto Carmona.
Fausto Carmona with the Indians.
And he was pretty good as Fausto Carmona.
Yes, he was.
For the Indians. Third start of the year in center field for Victorino for the Red Sox as he jumps back out of the way. There's a pop-up foul ground. Molina discards the mask, comes back as far as he can, and won't have a play. Runs in the first row of seats.
Well, Molina just running out of real estate behind home plate here at Fenway Park, and Victorino has himself another opportunity. Trying to reach around the screen, but right into it.
Red Sox have used 4 players in center this season. Bradley Jr., Nava, Ellsbury, and Victorino. This one kicks up into the seats sharply. Payoff pitch again from Hernandez. And it's fouled back again. This at-bat will extend to a 9th pitch.
Hernandez in his career against the Red Sox teams 3-4 with a 3.66 ERA.
Ground ball foul down towards the tarp area.
Now Victorino doing his job as a leadoff hitter tonight, fouling off a lot of pitches. Seeing a lot of pitches in his first at bat.
Third time Shane Victorino has led off for the Red Sox this season. And the ground, another one foul. Pitch of the at-bat coming up here. And it is a fly ball to right field. Will Myers coming in. And finally, that is out number 1 of the first inning. Good battle by Victorino. Let's check out the Red Sox starting 9. It's brought to you by New England Chevy dealers. Shane Victorino just led off. He's in center. Daniel Nava's in right with Dustin Pedroia at second base. David Ortiz at DH. Mike Napoli is at first base with Mike Harp in left field. Jared Saltalamacchia does the catching. Stephen Drew at shortstop bats 8th. And Jose Iglesias at third base batting 9th. One out here in the first inning for Daniel Nava. Now the .287 to start the night. 10 home runs. 52 runs batted in. He has reached base in a career high 19 straight starts dating back to June 22nd. The top 10 in on base percentage in the league. He hit .374. Just cracking it. He is 10th. In there for strike two.
Good two-seam fastball that time by Hernandez as he starts it inside and then picks up the inside part of the plate with it. Little tail on it.
Ranked 6th in the American League in ground ball outs. So he's hoping to get more of with that two-seamer tonight as he misses. And it is 2-2. His walks are down. Came into the season averaging 3.5 walks per 9 innings for his career, but this year just 2 walks per 9 innings. Roller foul towards the end of the Red Sox dugout. Run support has been an issue for Roberto Hernandez. In his 10 losses, the Rays have scored a total of 13 runs. Home runs have been a problem. He's allowed 18 home runs. This one is grounded foul a little more sharply over by the Red Sox dugout. He's had to work hard here in the first inning, just facing his second batter, but already 17 pitches deep into his outing. Away for ball 3. He's averaging 7 strikeouts per 9 innings. There's a ground ball towards first baseman James Loney. Going to need help, and Hernandez is over there to tag the bag. 2 down. Dustin Sandy in the 308. 6 homers, 57 runs driven in. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. In there for strike 1. It's only the 3rd career start for Hernandez here at Fenway Park. Last one was August 2nd of 2010, winning 6-5, and that was for the Cleveland Indians. Down the right field line, falling fast and foul. The fans don't miss out on all the action here at Fenway as the Red Sox continue their series against the Rays tomorrow and on Thursday. Tickets for these great matchups and other Sox games are available at redsox.com/tickets. You also can call 877-RED SOX 9 or visit the Fenway Park ticket office for information on all upcoming Sox games. On the ground to the second baseman, Ben Zobrist. Throws out Pedroia. The Sox are down in order. We played 1, no score tonight from Fenway. Light rain falling here at Fenway as the inning begins, and it'll be for the Tampa Bay Rays, Will Myers. We'll send this to deep left field on the first pitch of the inning, and that ball is going to be gone into the light stanchion and above the wall. Myers, who was out of last night's game with a sore wrist, hits his 5th home run of the year and puts the Rays on top 1-0.
Well, Myers is a very aggressive hitter. I mean, jumps on that first pitch from John Lester, a fastball, and hits a line drive home run out of Fenway Park. That ball just above the belt, a little bit inside, and the liner into the light tower.
So Rays on top 1-0. Matt Joyce jumping on the first pitch, fouls it back. Joyce, the DH in tonight's game. 243, 14 homers and 33 runs batted in. Red Sox in the shift on the right side against Joyce. Leave Iglesias on the left side of the infield. And Stephen Drew comes to the right side, and in short right is Pedroia. Joyce will hit it in the air out to left center field. Carp on the move. Will get there to make the catch shy of the track for the first out of the second inning. We'll take your gas savings deep. Sign up for the Cumberland Farms Smart Pay check link and save 10 cents on every gallon every day. No gimmicks, no catches, just savings. Join for free at cumberlandfarms.com. One out here in the second inning, and it'll bring up Yunel Escobar. Last night batted out of the number 9 spot. He moves up in the order and bats 6th tonight. Red Sox going to the lefty, so a different lineup tonight for the Rays, and that's going to miss just low for ball 1. Escobar played very well defensively. Now 53 consecutive errorless games. New club record for an errorless streak by Rays shortstop. And this will go on 2 hops. A big bounce to the shortstop for the Red Sox. And Drew throws out Escobar, 2 down. Let's send it down to Jenny Dell.
Well, Don, Dustin Pedroia has been a leader to this team both on and off the field. And he is on the verge of signing a contract extension, which will keep him in Boston for the remainder of his career. So for our AT&T Twitter question of the night, we'd like to ask fans at home, what qualities does Pedroia possess that you would like to see aspiring major leaguers possess? Send us your tweets at the hashtag PDPerforms, and we'll reveal the best ones later in the game.
Well, Jay, thanks very much. Hashtag PDPerforms. 2 down here in the second inning as James Loney stands in here for the Rays. His offense has been very good, hitting at .314, 9 homers and 45 runs batted in. Drove in the Rays' first 2 runs of last night's game. The sac fly in the first inning, then a 2-out RBI single in the 5th inning. Line down the left field line. It is a foul ball, just foul.
Staying on Pedroia for a second, and you know, we always talk about that unusual way that he gets ready for ground balls, that jump that he makes. Very unique, you know, and you see different players with different styles on how they prepare to catch ground balls, but Pedroia goes into that just about a jump. And I asked him why he does that, and he says when he was playing tennis, that's how he received tennis serves, and that's why he continued to do it in baseball. His coach told him to keep doing it, and that's why he does it.
Now, you wouldn't recommend that, would you, going into a youngster?
I used to jump too, but not quite that high.
I mean, that's a pretty good jump.
Yeah.
This is softly lined and into right field, a base hit. 2-out single for James Loney into right. Second hit of the night for the Rays.
Breaking ball that time, and up over the jump of Dustin Pedroia for the base hit. So James Loney continues to swing the bat very well. There's that leap we talked about from Pedroia, getting ready for serve. But that time the server is going to be out because it was up over his head.
Two down, Loney at first base for Jose Molina. And there for strike one. A milestone for James Loney. He's picked up his 1,000th career hit with that 2-out base hit here in the second inning. Spending the bulk of his career with the LA Dodgers, of course briefly with the Red Sox last year, and enjoying a good season this year, his first year in Tampa Bay. Molina thought about it, but takes strike two. In 10 games and 7 starts this year against Boston. Molina hitting at .522 against the Red Sox. Hitting at .195 against everybody else. He's enjoyed Red Sox pitching as he jumps back out of the way of a pitch down and in. Molina has struggled lately, though. 2 for his last 22 in his last 7 starts, hitting at .091. Swing and a miss, goes chasing after that 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Home run by Will Myers as the Rays on top 1-0.
Foxwoods Resort Casino, the elite gaming destination, hosts the largest and most prestigious poker event in the world, the World Series of Poker, August 8th through the 19th, with a $1 million guarantee. Foxwoods is the only circuit stop in New England. It all begins August 8th, so don't miss out. Visit foxwoods.com.
Into the bottom of the second inning we go, with the Rays on top 1-0, thanks to the home run by Will Myers off John Lester. Ortiz, Napoli, and Carp are expected here in the bottom of the second inning. Red Sox went 1-2-3 in the first inning. Roberto Hernandez had to work hard, though. Had a 22-pitch 1-2-3 inning. He's got an ERA over 10 here at Fenway Park as he deals inside with ball 1 to Ortiz. David at 321, 19 homers and 65 runs batted in. Ortiz is fourth in the American League in batting average. Miguel Cabrera hitting at 358 to set the pace in the American League. And Mauer at 324, Trout at 323, and Ortiz at 321. That's a strike, and it's 2-1. Jumps on that 94-mile-an-hour fastball, but fouls it back. He was 1 for 3 in last night's game. High fly ball that'll end up foul off to the right. Remind you to get set for every Red Sox game on NESN with Red Sox Game Day Live presented by DCU. NESN's pregame coverage of the Sox begins an hour before every game. DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union, banking the DCU way. A shot of Big Poppy. Slaps the 2-2 foul.
That slider from Hernandez, very hard slider with a very small break to it. Tries to pick up the outside corner. Ortiz just barely fouling that off to stay alive.
Wide of the middle, almost took out Hernandez. Moving down to the ground as this gets into center. Ringing single for Big Poppy to start the second inning.
Well, let's give you a look at the Tampa Bay defense tonight. They are second in the American League, only 38 errors on the season. Evan Longoria in third base, Janelle Escobar the shortstop, Ben Zobrist at second, and James Loney the first baseman. Left to right, Sean Rodriguez, Desmond Jennings, and Will Myers doing the catching. Jose Molina for Hernandez.
So David Ortiz with a leadoff single to begin things here in the bottom of the second inning. There's Mike Napoli. Bats fifth tonight and hits at 260. 13 homers and 62 runs batted in. Napoli will take strike one. He's 3 for 10 on the homestand so far, and his big night was Sunday night against the Yankees. The second multi-home run game of the year. He had done it back on May 1st at Toronto against the Jays, but hit 2, including the walk-off against the Yankees on Sunday night. Big swing and a miss there. He swung so hard down to one knee.
It looks like he slipped in the batter's box on that swing because almost like his ankle turned on him. That right ankle, and down he goes after the swing.
Foul back, and it hangs at 0-2. Look at his last 6 games for Mike Napoli. There's 4 home runs in his last 12. Red Sox trailing 1-0. Here's an 0-2. That's just inside.
Wow, that goes back a long way.
a fair ball down the left field line to the corner. Rodriguez will dig it out. Ortiz digging for third. The throw goes there, and David will be out. So they gun down the lead runner, and quickly grabbing it was Rodriguez. Into second base goes Napoli, but the first out is at third base.
Yeah, Red Sox have had some base running blunders in this homestand. That's the changeup again right there to Napoli that he picks up the base hit. But getting over there in a hurry is Sean Rodriguez, and he's really got Ortiz by quite a bit at third base. So that first out of the inning coming at third, that's not good for the Red Sox.
It is ruled a single. Napoli gets second on the throw. And he's in scoring position with one out.
Red Sox have run into some outs on this homestand.
There's Mike Carp getting the start in left field, hitting at .316. As he takes strike one. That's had 4 at-bats in this homestand, and was 3 for 4. All the at-bats coming in the Yankees series. He did not play in last night's first game of this series. Tonight getting a start in left field. And he lines this into right field for a base hit. Myers will get it. He's up and throwing as around from second comes Napoli. Red Sox tie the score at 1. Mike Carp drives in the game-tying run.
Carp had only had 2 at-bats in his career against Hernandez. He gets the slider this time. It was supposed to be a backdoor slider. Instead, it stays inside, and Carp lines it into right field. Napoli rounding third base. He has no problem scoring, and the Red Sox tie it up at 1. So 3 straight hits for Boston in this inning, but they do have an out.
Carp has enjoyed his time against the Rays this season. He's 5 for 11 against them at .455 against Tampa Bay. Gains a good sized lead at first base, and here's Jared Saltalamacchia. He will take ball 1. Jared at .257, 8 homers and 37 runs driven in. And last night off, Ryan Lavarnway caught Brandon Workman in last night's game. Hernandez falling behind 2-0.
And the shift on Saltalamacchia in the infield. They have Yunel Escobar on the second base side with that shift, and they keep Longoria at shortstop. So different styles, different varieties of shifts in this series.
Fouled at the plate, and it's 2-1. It's now appeared in 58 of the last 74 Red Sox games. He started 53 of those games, doing the bulk of the catching for the Red Sox. Stephen Drew waiting on deck. There's one out here in the bottom of the second inning. Ball 4, and he loses it. First walk given up by Hernandez. Ever find yourself guessing what you think is going to happen during every at-bat? Well, there's an app for that. MLB Pre-Play is the official prediction game of Major League Baseball. It's free to download on iOS and Android. Download now at NESN.com/preplay and play along during every Red Sox game. 2 on, 1 out. A run in for the Red Sox, and here's Stephen Drew. Swing and a miss for strike 1. High fastball that time. Drew's now started 3 of 4 games since his activation off the DL. And there for strike 2. Mike Carp at second, Jared Saltalamacchia at first, 1 out. Drew gets the arms out of the way and takes a pitch up and in for ball 1. In the first 10 games after the All-Star break against American League East opponents for Boston. The 3 against the Yankees, 4 here against the Rays, and 3 against the Orioles coming up over the weekend in Baltimore. There's a fly ball to center field. Desmond Jennings going back onto the warning track to make the catch as Carp will tag up and head for third. He'll get there without a problem. No advance for Saltalamacchia at first, and there are 2 outs in the inning. Send it back down to Jennings.
Well, Don, Rays manager Joe Maddon said that one of his favorite parts of coming here to Fenway Park is walking in the field, looking at the Green Monster, and checking out those AL East standings. And obviously, he's pleased right now, just a half a game behind the Red Sox. And he admitted he believes that success is because of overall better baseball play and the addition of David Price back in that starting rotation. And he said, you know what, Jenny, there's an overall winning spirit in this clubhouse now. Don?
Well, David Price certainly a big part of what they do for Tampa Bay, and he'll be on the mound tomorrow night. He's 4-5 on the season. It'll be a lefty-lefty matchup. Felix Dubron on the hill for Boston. He's a grounder foul over in the direction of the Rays dugout. Jose Iglesias batting out of the number 9 spot. 351 with a home run and 17 runs batted in. Rays have won 6 straight in 18 of the last 20. Well, 1 pitch on the ground towards short. Escobar gloves and throws in time to get Iglesias. But the Red Sox get a run of the inning and tie the game at 1. Back at Fenway Park, game now tied 1-1. Rays get a run in the second. Red Sox with a run also in the second inning as Sean Rodriguez leads it off here in the third. Rodriguez hitting at .254. 2 homers, 16 runs batted in. Did not play in last night's game. They'll take the strike over the outside corner. Rodriguez has become very versatile. He's at second base in the infield primarily in years past, but now seeing time in the outfield as well. He has started 30 of the last 31 games against left-handers. He's part of the lineup to face lefties as Iglesias will throw him out at first base. Well, we head back to the West Coast again in August, and 2 lucky winners will have a chance to join us in either San Francisco or Los Angeles for that trip in the Nesson West Coast Trip Sweepstakes. Both trips will include round-trip airfare from Boston and accommodations for 2 nights. Winners will also have a chance to meet us at the ballpark. Go to Nesson.com/road trip for your chance to win.
Of course, we filmed a commercial for that, which has become a very popular writer on Nesson.com, and also some outtakes. And most of them are from you, Don.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how are they going to get there? They're going to fly. Do I have to pay for it?
I didn't know anything beyond that. No, that's just no. Okay, so okay.
Will they make eye contact?
So we had a lot of big lines that were hard to remember.
And you're the guy that has all the movie experience. You know,
Yeah.
you got what was it? 3 movies now you're talking about?
3. Yeah, I've done 3 films.
And you've had more flubs than I've had in that one commercial.
Nobody said I was good in any of them. I just said I did them.
Takes a long time to make a movie.
It takes a long time to make a movie. That's, very surprised. I was in my trailer for a very long time during my first film with Drew Barrymore and Jimmy Fallon and Fever Pitch. You may remember back in 2005. And Bobby and Peter Farrelly making that movie. And I read the script, I liked it, and I did it. That's how it all started. 2-1 pitch is a strike over the outside corner. My people got a hold of their people, and we worked it out, hashed it out. I want to work with Bobby De Niro next, I think.
You call him Bobby?
Oh, yeah, I know Bobby.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Maybe he'll whack you.
At any rate, my film career has not gone quite as well as I'd hoped.
Well, at least you've had a
fast
couple.
And,
Yeah.
2-2 is by the dive of Drew. It's short and in the left. And then Desmond Jennings, who struck out in the first, has got a 1-out single here in the third.
Now the changeup, a popular pitch so far this inning for Lester, got an out on it on Sean Rodriguez's ground ball to Iglesias. That time Jennings goes down to get it and pulls it by the dive of Stephen Drew for the base hit.
Ben Zobrist flied out to right field in the first inning. And his second look at John Lester. Saltalamacchia popped up like he was going to fire to first. But back quickly was Jennings to the bag. In there for strike 1. Zobrist going to his second All-Star game this past week. Did not play in the game, but chosen by Jim Leland. Was also an All-Star in 2009. Not afraid to take the walk at first. In fact, since 2009, he leads the American League with 402 walks.
Let's see if they get some action going here. 1 out, 2-1 count. Jennings at first base with pretty good speed. Zobrist can handle the bat.
Certainly have the right people in the right places here to do something. Joe Madden does nothing. This one is grounded foul. 2-2.
They always throw it out there just in case.
It might stick.
Sometimes it sticks.
We had Tony La Russa come up to see you before the game, along with Walt Reniak, to say hi.
Yeah, we're just getting ready to do our open, and Walter and Tony La Russa coming in to say hello.
Two is up and away. Ball 3, full count. Zobrist coming into the game hitting at .269. Flight out to Daniel Nava in right field in the first inning. Swing and a miss. 92 up and away. And that's the 4th strikeout for John Lester.
Now this time looked like Zobrist chased one that might have been out of the strike zone. A fastball away from him on the 3-2 count, and a good live fastball right there. As you can see how late the swing is from Zobrist. The last whiff was brought to you by Head and Shoulders.
So 4 of them up there so far tonight for Lester. 2 down in the inning for Evan Longoria. He struck out looking in the first inning. And time called. Lester holding on to the baseball for a long time. Speaking of walks, Longoria leads the Rays in walks with 47. He'll take a pitch outside for ball 1. Sit safely in 5 straight games. A couple of home runs in his last 4 games. It's after hitting just 1 in the previous 18. Total of 20 home runs on the season for Longoria. It's the first in Rays history with 5 20 home run seasons. Prior to Longoria, Aubrey Huff and Carlos Pena both had 4 20 home run seasons. There's ground ball right side. Pedroia's got to go to his left, so no play there as he fires to first for the out. Take a look at second base, but throws out Longoria. 1-1 game. Shane Victorino will lead it off when we come back. For the ball game tonight. You and Walter very close, Jerry, and you're a very good hitting coach.
Yeah, we go back a long way. Walt and I very close, a very good friend of mine, and one of the best coaches I've ever had to work with. Just his commitment alone was everything. He meant everything to you. He lived and died with what you did.
You get the feel that he misses the game?
No, I think he's very comfortable. He loves golf. He plays golf every day. He plays it all winter long. Doesn't matter if there's snow on the ground. He plays golf.
It's a 1-1 turned on by Victorino to deep right. Myers headed back. It's going to be off the wall. Plays the carom quickly off the short fencing in right, and standing at second with the leadoff double is Shane Victorino.
Now Victorino puts a charge in that fastball right at the base of the wall out near the Red Sox bullpen. Had a very long at bat. This first at bat tonight ended up with a fly ball to right field, but this time more of a line drive than a fly ball off the base of the wall. So the Red Sox have the leadoff man on in the bottom of the third in scoring position.
And now Daniel Nava, who grounded out to first base in the first inning, getting his second look at Roberto Hernandez. Hernandez at 50 pitches through the first 2 innings. There's a fly ball foul off to the left out of play. Good guy to have up in this spot. Nava's had success on the year. After being shut out last night, Red Sox got their first run tonight in the second inning. Tied the game 1-1. Now looking to move ahead. And Nava hits one in the air to right field. Myers going back. It'll take him almost to the track as he makes the catch. Victorino will tag and head to third base without a problem. With 1 out in the inning, the go-ahead run 90 feet away. Now, for every Red Sox game that goes into extra innings or the Sox get a save, CVS Pharmacy will make a donation to Boston Children's Hospital towards their $25,000 donation this season.
Well, now for accepting congratulations for a teammate. He gets his jobs done by hitting that ball to the right side and deep enough to get Victorino to third base. That was a changeup that he hit a long way to right field. Infield comes in early in the ball game for Tampa Bay.
And Pedroia takes strike 1.
If there was nobody out in the inning, they may not be in. But with 1 out, there's less of a chance of a big inning. So that sometimes managers bring him in with 1 out.
This one fouled back. Just saw a shot at Tony La Russa. You wonder about how he watches games now. One of the game's best managers ever. He must be managing his head while watching all the time.
I don't know. Maybe more relaxed than ever. You know, just watching a baseball game. Walter's doing all the talking. Yeah. He's got the hands going.
That is outside. Trying to pull it back was Molina. He's pretty good at framing pitches, but that's a ball 1-2. Look out. Now Pedroia hit with the pitch. He'll head down to first base.
Now Hernandez trying to run that fastball back in on Dustin Pedroia, and it runs in too far. Gets Pedroia, looks like right around the elbow area. Looks like Pedroia has a pad in that area. Might have got above the pad, but he'll make his way down to first base. So it's a first and third situation with one out.
MLB.TV celebrates 11 years with new low yearly prices. Watch out-of-market games live on over 350 supported mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV. Baseball everywhere. First and third, one out here in the third inning. David Ortiz coming up. He's singled in the second inning, and then tried to go to third base on a single by Mike Napoli, but was gunned down by Sean Rodriguez at third base. Chance here to put the Sox on top. And Ortiz rattles it foul off to the left. Rides a 5-game hitting streak now. They base hit in the second inning. The foul off to the left.
See down at third base, Victorino, he can get a huge lead down there because there is nobody in the vicinity of Victorino.
Taking off is Pedroia. The pitch inside. Throwing is Molina. Hits the runner, and here comes Victorino. Red Sox take a 2-1 lead. Molina elects to throw to second base. It doesn't go well. The Red Sox take a 2-1 lead.
It really just doesn't make much sense, does it, to throw through? I mean, it's a free ride home for Victorino. There's nobody holding him on at third base. He can come halfway down the line if he wants to, and as soon as that throw goes through, he scores with no problem. There's Pedroia stealing second base. The throw's going to hit him, it looks like. Goes in towards center field, and across the plate comes Victorino with the go-ahead run.
They charge the error to Molina on the play, allowing Victorino to score. It is a stolen base for Pedroia, obviously, but it is an error that scores Victorino and has the Red Sox on top 2-1. And Big Papi can add to that lead. Here's a 2-2. And it's chopped into the shift. Zobrist in short right. Throws out David Ortiz as Pedroia takes third with 2 down. That'll bring up Mike Napoli. We're talking about the Red Sox working the count this year. Red Sox batters lead the majors just over 4 pitches per plate appearance, 4.04. And they've seen a major league high 15,988 pitches coming into this game. The A's are second in that category, but it is Mike Napoli who's averaging a major league high 4.54 pitches per plate appearance. You see Mike Napoli strikeouts. There are a lot of strikeouts, but he's seen a lot of pitches too. You see that pitch for strike 2.
That's pretty nasty right there from Hernandez. That fastball down about knee high. Right at the bottom of the strike zone.
towards shortstop Escobar. Step to his left. Throws out Napoli, but the Red Sox get the go-ahead run. We're through 3. Red Sox lead at 2-1. Two-1 Red Sox pulled ahead here at Fenway Park. It's the top of the 4th inning, and Will Myers swinging at the first pitch again. Sends this one to the gap in left center field. Carp will run it down, but it's under his glove. And to the track to second base goes Myers. He would be there with a double anyway, but he has twice swung at the first pitch. One was for a home run, and this one is for a double into the gap.
Apparently that wrist is okay, because that's 2 hellacious swings he's had in this game. The home run swing, and now a hard line drive by the left of Stephen Drew. They wanted to go inside with the fastball, not quite far enough in for John Lester, and Myers hits it very hard into that gap right by Carp and all the way to the wall.
Matt Joyce flied out to left field in the 2nd inning. He's trying to answer here quickly as the Red Sox pull ahead in the bottom of the 3rd, and the Rays bat here in the top half of the 4th inning. Joyce has been struggling over the last 28 games. He is hitting at 179 dating back to June the 16th. No home runs since then. Give you an idea, 14 home runs prior to that, and none since really the end of June.
I think one of the reasons he's so high in the order tonight is the fact that he, against Lester, he's now 4 for 9, and 2 of those 4 hits have been home runs.
Nice gesture from the young ladies down there behind the dugout to share it with some of the younger kids here in that foul ball. Joyce lays off ball 2. Joyce, for whatever reason, has always started quickly. April and May in his career at 297 combined average. And a swing and a miss by him. 2-2.
That's the cut fastball that time from Lester. keeping the ball away from Joyce.
And a swing and a miss. Nice pitch from Lester as Joyce goes chasing on the breaking ball. It's the 5th strikeout for John Lester. NESN's coverage of Red Sox baseball is brought to you in part by Eastern Bank. You always put others first. Wouldn't it be nice if your bank did the same thing with products that make life easier and a commitment to helping those in need? Here, your first, Eastern Bank.
Well, a cut fastball and a curveball both away from Joyce, not able to make contact or pull the ball, and that relieves Myers at second base instead of third base.
They'll pitch inside to Escobar. And grounded out to shortstop in the 2nd inning. So I'm stretching out the legs here. He has had a hamstring problem lately. There's a question mark for last night's game, but he played last night, back in there again tonight. Strike called, 1-1. At the top of the strike zone for Lester. John Lester getting the extra time as he was scheduled to start on Sunday, but Red Sox pushing him back to tonight's start on this Tuesday night in Game 2 of the series. A drop in for strike 2. Breaking ball.
That's one that started outside and really one you quit on easily as a right-handed hitter. It looks like it's going to be away, and it comes back to pick up the outside corner.
Escobar enjoying his time here with Tampa Bay. Of course, started in the majors as a member of the Atlanta Braves. Then went to Toronto and played for John Farrell. Now comes here to Tampa Bay, his 3rd stop in the majors. Myers doing some dancing out there at second base. Lester looking at him a couple of times in time call.
Myers does have 3 steals on the season, has been caught 1 time, and like he was trying to time Lester's move to home plate there while on second base.
1-2 will bounce in, and it evens at 2-2. Escobar started the year 0 for 14 with runners in scoring position. But since then, he's hit at .338. He's got a guy at second here. And off the end of the bat, fouls it to the right. This will bring a visit by Sal Talamaki out to meet John Lester. We'll see tomorrow Stars play at Futures at Fenway, presented by Xfinity on Saturday. When the Portland Sea Dogs take on the Harrisburg Senators, this family-friendly event also features Dog Day at Fenway and a performance by Kids Bop Kids, Billboard's #1 Kids Artist of the Year. Tickets start at $5 and can be purchased at redsox.com/futures or by calling 877-RED-SOX-9. Will Myers at second base, 1 out in the inning. Escobar sends one out to right center field. Victorino on the run, and he'll get there. Turns quickly and fires back towards the infield, but Myers tags up and easily moves to third base with now 2 down in the inning.
Now that velocity right now pretty good for John Lester. That last fastball was at 95 miles an hour. Escobar put a pretty good charge in it out towards right center field, but Victorino is able to chase it down. Myers tagging and going to third base. For a second, it looked like there might be some confusion out there, but it is Victorino, the center fielder, who takes charge and makes the catch.
So Myers 90 feet away, 2 down. James Loney, the batter, he came up with a big 2-out base hit RBI in yesterday's game. Another chance here for James Loney, who singled to right field in the second inning to pick up his 1,000th career hit. Foul it off to the left. Still ranks in the top 10 in batting average. He is 5th to start the day at .314 in batting average. The middle of May, he was hitting at .367. And down to count 0-2. The pitch buried down and in.
A little turnover fastball that time from John Lester to Seamer. Going down and in to James Loney.
Tried to hold up, did he? No, he went around. Manny Gonzalez rings him up. Red Sox out of the jam. They've got a 2-1 lead through 3.5. Part by Eastern Bank. Put your family first, job first, even your team first. Is it a time someone put you first? Eastern Bank does just that with products like Eastern Free Checking. Here, you're first, Eastern Bank. This turned out to be a nice night so far in Boston. After a lot of rain came through here late afternoon, the tarp was on the field until about an hour before game time, and so far so good as we play into the bottom of the 4th inning, and Boston with a 2-1 advantage. Mike Karp leads it off. He has driven in a run in this game. His single in the 2nd inning scored Mike Napoli to tie the game 1-1. Karp has had the knack for not having the most playing time on the Red Sox, but being productive when given the opportunity.
Exactly right. A .316 hitter coming into the game today, adding to that with a base hit, and that is a tough average to maintain when you do not play every day.
Swing and a miss, and he strikes out this time. That's the first K for Roberto Hernandez. It's time for a Fenway fan story and Jenny Dell.
Well, Don, fans might have seen this face on Chelsea lately. It's comedian Josh Wolf. Josh, from Massachusetts originally, always rocking the Red Sox cap. Why is that?
Well, you know, some people move to different parts of the country and they decide to pull for that team. That's not how we do it when you're from Massachusetts. Always a Sox fan.
Always a Sox fan, and now you have some special news coming out, a new show. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I got a new talk show on Discovery coming out. It premieres on Shark Week, August 4th. It's called Shark After Dark with Josh Wolf. It's a regular talk show hour. It's a big boy talk show. We're doing big boy things.
Big boy things. Now, we were talking about, you know, you're out at these shows. Do you ever have any funny experiences with Boston fans?
Yeah, you know, sometimes it's hard to tell where people are from. Get down! It's hard, sorry. It's hard to tell.
And he's got play-by-play.
It's hard to tell sometimes where fans are from, but I heard someone scream from the darkness one time, "Hey, I'm your Twitter stalker!" And I'm like, "Hey, you're from Boston. All right, good to have you at the show."
Well, good luck with the new show. Jerry Remy here bought you some hot dogs for being the fan of your game. I know your family's here with you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for supporting the Red Sox. Fans at home, if you have a unique reason of why you're coming to Fenway Park, go to NESN.com/stories. Let us know why, and I may interview you in a future home game.
All right, Jay, thanks very much. We'll be looking forward to that. Some big boy stories, Jerry.
What's that?
1 out, a double for Jared Saltalamacchia. Stephen Drew, it's his second look tonight at Roberto Hernandez. Drew flying out to the warning track in the 2nd inning, 0 for 1. And Jared Saltalamacchia with a double. The Red Sox trying to add on to this lead. There's a ground ball down to first base. It'll be out number 2, but a productive out as Saltalamacchia moves over to third base now with 2 down in the inning.
Now Drew got fooled a little bit on that pitch out in front of a changeup by Hernandez, and that ground ball to first base. So Drew 0 for 2. That's a changeup, as you can see, in the top as Drew tries to pull it and pulls it right to Loney at first base.
Two down, Saltalamacchia at third base. Jose Iglesias grounded out to shortstop. This will take strike 1. Iglesias trying to deliver Saltalamacchia and almost gets hit. That has already hit Dustin Pedroia in this game.
Very close to the same location where he got Pedroia. That ball a little bit lower than the one to Dustin.
A little bit low for ball 2. This is 2 for 15 on the homestand for the Red Sox. He has cooled off post All-Star break. 2-2. Covidien, delivering innovative healthcare products across the globe, is a proud sponsor of the Red Sox Foundation.
Good example there of Iglesias sitting on a fastball and not getting it, getting the changeup from Hernandez, and a hitter's count.
It sits softly on the ground to third base. Longoria's throw will be in time, and the Red Sox leave a runner at third. Through 4, Boston on top 2-1. Two-1 Red Sox holding on to the lead as we move into the 5th inning tonight from Fenway. Game 2 of the 4-game series between the Red Sox and the Rays. Half a game, the difference between the Red Sox and Rays. And John Lester pitching here into the 5th inning. This will be pitch number 60 of his outing. And it's Jose Molina, the Rays catcher, who leads it off. Struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. One of 6 strikeouts in the game tonight for John Lester. And the breaking ball in there for strike 1. One fouled off to the right, out of play. Jerry, they have changed the ruling on that play earlier, and it seems suspicious at first. Victorino gets credit for stolen bases, it turns out. The steal at home is kind of the back end, but it is a double steal.
Yeah, double steal. It should have been.
Right. It was charged initially with an error for Jose Molina.
Yeah,
I mean, incorrect.
He was going to score regardless of whether Pedroia was thrown out or not.
So they have officially made that change. This one is fouled down the right field line.
Don, that's one that you could have scored on. There was nobody in the area within 100 yards of Victorino.
Let's not get carried away.
Oh, you could have scored on that one. No problem. Stand it up.
But that is the difference in the game right now. There's a 1-2. And a ground ball foul to the end of the Rays dugout. And a swing and a miss. That pitch was never a strike. very much away, and chasing is Molina. It's 7 strikeouts for Lester.
7 strikeouts. We'll take a look at the last 4 for Lester. A fastball away right there to Zobrist. The breaking ball to Joyce to pick up the strikeout. Loney on a curveball, and now the fastball by Molina. And that ball well on off the outside part of the plate. Molina chasing it.
1 out, 4 in a row. Retired by Lester. And he misses outside to Sean Rodriguez. 3 on the ground, 3 in the air, and 7 strikeouts in the game for Lester. His strikeout high on the year is 8, and he has done that on 2 occasions. This is to right field, and a base hit, opposite field hit for Sean Rodriguez. Rays pick up their 5th hit of the night. Well, Dunkin' Donuts' new mobile app. With it, you can load a Dunkin' Donuts card and pay right from your phone. You can also receive exclusive mobile offers and send Dunkin' gift cards. Message and data rates may apply. For full terms of use, visit www.dunkindonuts.com/mobile terms. 1 out here in the 5th inning. Number 9 man Sean Rodriguez just picked up a single. And here's Desmond Jennings. Salty the bluff down to first, but Rodriguez back to the bag. Jennings struck out in the first, single in the 3rd inning. Fly ball foul off to the right, evens the count at 1-1. Lester's career high in strikeouts is 13. Did that July 24th of 2010 at Seattle against the Mariners. Up high for ball 2.
I'll see if they play a little hit and run here with the 2-1 count, 1 out. Jennings does swing and miss quite a bit. 77 times he has struck out this season, while walking 37 times.
Swing and a miss, 2-2.
No hit and run put on. No contact that time by Jennings on the fastball. Amica Insurance, the proud sponsor of the Amica Pit Zone.
Fouled straight back, and we'll do it again. 2-2. Ben Zobrist waiting on deck. Rays batting here in the top half of the 5th inning. Joe Maddon's team has been on fire. 18 of the last 20 they have been victorious, 6 in a row. Very close. Lester wanted it. Apparently low, full count.
Yeah, it looked like I should have had it too. Very good pitch here by John Lester, right at the bottom of the strike zone, outside corner.
Golfs it foul off to the right.
And talk, Don, about the way that the Rays have been playing. I mean, they can't wait to get to the ballpark every day. They just feel like they got to win every game they play. And it has been close to that for the last 3 weeks.
Nobody better since May the 8th. 3-2 is a swing and a miss. Lester picked up his 8th strikeout. Ties a season high, and that's good for out number 2 of the 5th inning.
Once again, Lester goes upstairs and maybe out of the strike zone to get this strikeout. As he gets Jennings, a swing and a pitch that's up and away. 93 miles an hour. The strikeout starting to pile up for Lester in this one here in the 5th inning.
3rd time this year he's had 8 strikeouts in a game. Last time was June 16th at Baltimore. Camden Yards. 2 outs in the inning. Rodriguez at first for Ben Zobrist. And this one grounded foul. Rodriguez kind of started and stopped at first base. We'll talk about this Rays run, and they're 18-2 in their last 20 since June 29th. Best 20-game stretch by an American League team since the 2006 Minnesota Twins went 19-1. The 1 is fouled off to the right. It's 0-2. The start of the run for the Rays, they were 7 games out and in 4th place in the American League East. And tonight, if they could beat the Red Sox, they would move into 1st place. Red Sox have other ideas and have a 2-1 advantage right now.
Baltimore very early in their game in Kansas City. They trail at 1-0, but that's only the 2nd inning in Kansas City.
Ball and 2 strikes. Red Sox have led the division for 57 straight days. Fly ball to right field, playable for Daniel Nava. He'll make the catch, and Lester, he's through 5. 2-1 Red Sox on top. Office Supply Delivery. WB Mason same-day service can't be thrown out. Call by 11:30 and your order is delivered that same afternoon. WB Mason, the league leader in same-day delivery. Boston on top 2-1 as they come to bat here in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's the top of the Red Sox order. Shane Victorino leading it off for the Red Sox tonight with Jacoby Ellsbury on the bench. A night off. Victorino has flied to right and doubled and scored. Scoring on the back end of a double steal to give the Red Sox a 2-1 advantage in the 3rd inning. First stolen base of home on a double steal for the Red Sox since Ryan Kalish in 2010. Of course, the last straight steal of home was Jacoby Ellsbury. This one is grounded foul. Action for the first time tonight for Tampa Bay. Alex Torres, who can go multiple innings for Joe Madden, up in the pen. Hernandez got deep into his pitch count early in this game. It's been more economical over the last few innings. Check swing. Did he go? No. Says Manny Gonzalez. 2-2. Chopped to first and picked on the backhand by Loney. Will tag the bag for the first out of the bottom of the 5th inning. Well, your Eastern Mass Lexus dealers bringing the pitching line for Roberto Hernandez. 4 1/3, 5 hits, the 2 runs, a walk and a K. 83 pitches in his outing. He's retired now 6 of the last 7 Red Sox he has faced, and gets ready to deal with Daniel Nava. Nava's grounded out to first base and flied out to right. 0 for 2. Rays have 59 wins coming into tonight's game, tied with the St. Louis Cardinals for the 2nd most in the majors, only behind the Red Sox, who have the 60 victories. Second fastest for the Rays to get to this point since 2008, as this is in there for strike 1. Only other time they've done it in their franchise history. And of course, 2008 is when everything turned around for this Rays franchise. And Joe Madden getting them to the World Series against the Philadelphia Phillies. Strike 2. Of course, defeating the Red Sox in a 7-game American League Championship Series. The final game and 7th game at the Trop. To left field, struck well. Rodriguez going back, and he'll make the catch. It's off the scoreboard and by him. Jennings backs it up, but it is a 1-out double off the wall in left field for Daniel Nava.
Nice job by Daniel Nava staying back on the off-speed pitch. It was a changeup, I believe, that time from Hernandez, and Nava does a real nice job staying back and taking that ball to the opposite field. Plays hard off that wall, gets quickly by Rodriguez. It's Jennings to back it up, but Nava in scoring position with 1 out.
One out. Nava at second base. There's the laser show. Dustin Pedroia, who has grounded out to second base, been hit by a pitch, and he'll take strike 1. Down 0-2. He was lunging after that pitch.
That change up again from Hernandez, and that time a very, very good one, keeping it down to Pedroia. Had some late action on it, dipping down and out of the strike zone.
This will kick off Molina and up into the seats. That's third base for Nava without a problem. From the rubber, only one base. That's the reason they got to stop Nava at third.
And tries that changeup again, this time bouncing it and bouncing it off the body of Molina and up into the stands. So now the infield comes in again with one out and a man at third base. 2-1 ball game.
One-two pitch inside, almost hit him again, and it's 2-2.
It's 3 straight changeups that he's thrown to Pedroia.
Infield in, the 2-2, and Pedroia hits it in the air out to right center. Myers and Jennings come together. It is Myers who makes the catch. Here comes Nava plateward, and he will get there without a throw. Red Sox lead it 3-1. Dustin Pedroia, the sac fly, gives the Red Sox a 2-run advantage.
Well, that's what you want to do. I mean, you get a pitch that you can lift and drive deep enough to the outfield to get the run home. That's what Pedroia does. He lifts the fly ball. Red Sox have the 3-1 lead.
Prior to that, he had kind of a tough time against a changeup from Hernandez.
Yeah, I threw him 3 straight changeups, and he tried to throw that fastball to the outside part of the plate, and that's when Pedroia took it deep enough to get that run home. Very big run. Right here, Don.
Thanks, Jerry.
You lost your pen. Very important.
This one is back up the middle and into center field. And a base hit for Big Papi, who collects his second hit of the game.
Ortiz once on a changeup, this time on a slider to pick up his second hit. He's 2 for 3. There's that slider that stays out over the plate, and up the middle goes Ortiz with it for the base hit.
30th multi-hit game of the year for Ortiz. A single in the second. He's got a single here in the 5th, and now Mike Napoli. There's a chopper to third base, backing up Longoria, who'll go to second for the force out there. It will end the inning. Red Sox tack on another run, take a 3-1 lead through 5. 3-1. Red Sox have a lead over the Rays. We head to the top half of the 6th inning. Evan Longoria, Will Myers, and Matt Joyce to face John Lester, who now has a 2-run advantage. He's handled Longoria on 2 occasions tonight. Got him to strike out looking in the first, and got him to ground out to second base in the 3rd inning. Fly ball skied to deep left center field. Victorino going back, looking up, and that ball is going to be gone. Home run for Evan Longoria, his 3rd in the last 5 games, and his 21st home run of the year. Brings the Rays within a run. And a happy Longoria and Rays fan out there in the monster seats. You got a good look at it.
Held 2 home runs tonight off Lester. Myers got him back in the 2nd inning. This time it looks like the fastball again, and Longoria taking it out toward that 379, above the 379 for the home run. So it's been long ball baseball for the Rays tonight and small ball for the Red Sox.
Now Myers will chop one foul towards the Rays dugout. He's got the other home run. His 5th home run of the year in the 2nd inning. He's also got a double. That's the 3rd time that he swung at the first pitch from John Lester tonight.
Yeah, he's seen 3 pitches tonight, and he's 2 for 2.
This is line to left and right at Carp. Sure, you might remember during the offseason, Lester's name was mentioned as a possible trade for Myers. The rumor was at the time, and he was, of course, with the Kansas City Royals. But it took the trade of James Shields to Kansas City to get him here to Tampa Bay. But that had been mentioned during the offseason by several.
I'll tell you, we've seen 3 very impressive at-bats tonight from Will Myers. That's for sure. The home run, the double, and that line drive out to left field was hit very hard.
Retired here by Lester, first out of the 6th inning. First time that Lester's been able to get Myers tonight, and here's Matt Joyce. Joyce flied out to left in the 2nd, struck out swinging in the 4th inning. Foul back, and it's 2-1. This ticket brings you the pitching line for John Lester tonight. 5 1/3, 6 hits, the 2 runs, both solo home runs. Myers has 1. More recently, Longoria the other. He's not walked anybody and tied a season high in strikeouts with 8. On the ground, off the bag. It's a fair ball and picked by Napoli to Lester for the out. You know, so many times you see the ball hit the bag and take off in different directions, and that time it skips to Napoli, who stays with it for the 2nd out.
Good quick reactions by Napoli down at first base, because you really have no idea on what direction that ball is going to go. Kicks back to his right, gets it in the webbing of the glove, and Lester doing his job by getting over to first base to cover.
Two down in the inning for Yanel Escobar. Shortstop for the Rays, who grounded out to his counterpart at shortstop in the 2nd inning. Flied out to center field in the 4th. And strike 1 on the curveball from Lester. Lester last time out going 6 1/3, throwing an even 100 pitches. Took the loss. He ran into A.J. Griffin, who went 8 shutout innings against the Red Sox for the Oakland A's. Game the Red Sox were shut out in 3-0. Fly ball shallow right. Nava in and over. That'll end the inning, but a leadoff home run by Evan Longoria brings the Rays back within one. The Rays a little closer. The lows never stop improving. Spotlight tonight focuses on Tampa's Evan Longoria. His 20th home run on the season on Sunday. Longoria became just the 6th third baseman in Major League history with 5 20 home run seasons in his first 6 years in the majors. Longoria joins a select group that includes Eddie Matthews, Bob Horner, Chipper Jones, Scott Rowland, and Jim Ray Hart. Longoria is also the first Rays player ever with 5 20 home run seasons. And with the home run that he just got in the top half of the inning, he now has 21 on the year as the Rays change pitchers. And after 5 innings from Hernandez, Alex Torres now in the game for Tampa Bay. His 18th appearance, 3-0, 0.32 earned run average, 35 strikeouts, 11 walks, and opponents hitting at .076 against Torres. He called up June 1st, and he leads Major League relievers with a minimum of 20 innings pitched with a 0.38 earned run average in this current stint up in the majors. This one fouled off to the left out of play. Allowed 1 run, 7 hits, with 35 strikeouts and 28 1/3 innings pitched overall this year. His numbers have been amazing.
It was kind of amazing, Don. Right-handers only 3 for 58 against him. An .052 batting average for right-handers against the left-hander, Torres.
Fouled back, 1-2. To me, this is an area where the Rays have been the most changed since 2008 has been their bullpen. Once you get past their starters prior to that, you get into that bullpen and you could really turn a game around. That has not been the case. And the thing that has amazed me the most is how many different faces have been in that bullpen that has kind of been thrown together year in and year out and have done extremely well. Pretty rare to have the same closer in back-to-back years. They do that in Fernando Rodney now. But somehow they've assembled a pretty good bullpen. Well, that's a strike, and Clark does not like it. That's strike 3. Not happy at all. 1 down.
That's a changeup too from Torres that stays upstairs, up and in, and that's where Cobb thought it was. But according to the Amica Big Zone, it does catch. part of the plate, but you very seldom see a changeup up high like that called for a strike.
One down for Jared Saltalamacchia. Turns around a bat from the right side here against the lefty Torres. Saltalamacchia on twice tonight. A walk in the second, a double in the fourth inning. Swing and a miss has him down 1-2.
You can see why right-handers do have a problem against Torres. He's got a very good changeup. And he's thrown back-to-back ones to Saltalamacchia here in this at-bat. It's how he got caught, the left-hander, to strike out.
Well, Saltalamacchia's had 3 plate appearances against Torres. He struck out twice and walked against him in the past. There's a broken bat blip to center field. That'll fall for a base hit. Third time Saltalamacchia has been on base tonight. Let's send it down to Jenny.
Well, Don, Red Sox catcher David Ross, who has been rehabbing at his home in Florida, was able to provide us with tonight's Tufts Health Plan Healthy Tip.
I like oatmeal in the morning. It gives me a lot of fiber and keeps me full throughout the day, so I don't constantly be hungry during the day. So just a nice breakfast in the morning, I think, is something good to start off. I think it's the number one meal of the day, right?
Ross will report back to the Red Sox later this week, though he isn't eligible to come off the disabled list until mid-August. Don, we're hoping he is back and healthy sooner than later.
Yeah, David Ross, a lot of fun to be around at the beginning of the year, and certainly the 2 concussions have set him back. We wish him all the best. Hope to see him soon.
I know John Farrell's looking very much forward to having him back, not only playing wise, but even just being around the ball club. He says it's like having another coach around.
One out, one on here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Stephen Drew batting with Saltalamacchia at first. This one is fouled back, 1-1. Guessing by the reaction, a good catch.
It had to be somewhere to our left on.
Drew's flied out to the warning track and grounded out to first base. 0 for 2. Lead for Saltalamacchia held on by Loney at first base. Swing and a miss, and Drew gets a look at that changeup up close and personal. 2-2.
Now, a lot of left-handed pitchers don't throw left-handed hitters changeups because a lot of times they end up down and in, and that's where left-handed hitters like the baseball. But in today's game, we're seeing more and more of that. In the past, you almost never saw a lefty throw a left-handed hitter a changeup.
Held on to there for an extra second by Molina, trying to draw the call from Tony Randazzo. Instead, it's a full count, 3-2. Swing and a miss, and Drew strikes out. That's the second out, and both have been by way of the K.
And both have been changeups to left-handed hitters. Cobb was high, up and in. This one was down to Drew. Honest to God, I think in my career, Don, I think I saw one changeup from a left-handed pitcher.
Really?
One. And I spun myself into the ground swinging out. But it almost never happened in the past, but now you see it all the time. Very effective.
2 down in the inning. Jose Iglesias. We'll take a look at ball 1. Iglesias 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice to the left side of the Rays infield. Once to short, once to third. Red Sox have action in their pen as Matt Thornton, the tall lefty, warming. 91 pitches so far for John Lester through the first 6 innings. Throw to first, and Salty was late to react, but he gets back.
That was kind of weird, wasn't it? I mean, it was a step off. The hat fell off of the pitcher, Torres, and then the throw to first base.
Fly ball to center field, sending Jennings back. Makes the catch on the edge of the warning track to end the inning. We played 6. Red Sox have a 3-2 lead. Games. Visit Ace Ticket for great seats at the lowest prices, either for a game or for all the summer's hottest concerts. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. Good look at the moon tonight here at Fenway Park. Glad to be able to see it. There's a chance for precipitation here tonight at Fenway, and so far so good. As we play into the 7th inning, Red Sox on top by a run. The Rays coming to bat here against John Lester. 91 pitches into his outing as he deals with James Loney to begin things here in the 7th inning. Double-barreled action now in the Red Sox pen. We saw Thornton warming last inning. He's now been joined by Shinichi Tozawa. to left at Karp, who makes the catch for the first out of the 7th inning. I want to remind you to stay with NESN after our Sox coverage for NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. Jamie Erdahl introduces us to new Celtic Marshawn Brooks. Mike Salk brings us the Boston Buzz, and we'll have more on the Dustin Pedroia contract extension with Dennis Eckersley. It all comes your way with Adam Pellerin and Leah Hextall following our Sox coverage. That is outside for ball 1 to Molina. One is to left, and Karp this time may not have a chance to catch this. He leaps and cannot. Off the scoreboard, it rattles by him. Victorino backs him up. And to second base goes Jose Molina with a 1-out double.
After a couple of strikeouts from Molina in this game on fastballs, he gets a curveball this time from John Lester and puts it just over the head of Mike Karp out there in left field. Karp going back as far as he can, takes a leap, but just over the glove. And it looks like that might be the night for John Lester.
Surprised here, him coming out now.
95 pitches. I thought maybe he would get another hitter.
Well, he will hand him the baseball. That is the night for Lester in the pitching change from Fenway. Thornton coming in. The Red Sox have the lead over the Rays with 1 out, but Molina has doubled with 1 down. It chases Lester from the game. Sean Rodriguez takes a look at ball 1 from the new Red Sox pitcher Matt Thornton, as his call to the bullpen is brought to you on NESN by New England Ford dealers. Third acquired from the Chicago White Sox. 44th appearance, 0-4 with a 3.82 earned run average. This ground ball to third base. Iglesias looks the runner back and fires to first for the out. Molina not known for his speed, so you don't have to worry about him taking off for third once you make the throw. There are 2 outs in the inning.
Molina was headed one direction, and that was back to second base.
So big out there for Thornton as Lester looks on. John goes 6 1/3, 8 hits.
This is kind of what I expected. John Farrell, one hitter for Thornton, and going out and get Tazawa. Tazawa to face the leadoff hitter Jennings, a right-hander, and if he's successful getting him, can also come out and pitch the 8th inning.
So the pitching change here with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Red Sox have a 3-2 lead.
In the top of the 7th, and tomorrow here at Fenway and on Thursday, the Red Sox wives will be collecting a cash and can drive, and this is for the Greater Food Bank of Boston. So fans, if you're coming to the game or if you're not even coming to the game, the Red Sox wives will be outside all gates collecting either $10 donations or 10 non-perishable food items. Last year, this event raised over $16,000 and provided over 40,000 meals to those in need. Don?
Jay, thanks very much. Red Sox fans always very generous, and hopefully they will be again. 2 outs here in the 7th inning. New pitcher for the Red Sox, 30 of the night. Junichi Tazawa into the game. 46th appearance, 4-3. 2.93 earned run average. 47 Ks to 7 walks. And opponents hitting at 273. Tying run at second base. 2 down as Desmond Jennings is the batter. And he takes strike 1. Well, on Sunday night against the Yankees, Tazawa came in and allowed both of his inherited runners to score. Trying to keep this a 1-run Red Sox advantage here. On the outside corner, Jennings didn't think so. 0-2.
Yeah, pretty generous call right there for Tazawa on that second strike. He'll take it.
Swing and a miss. Tazawa makes quick work of Jennings. Strikes him out on 3 pitches. sports we need to know from the world of sports on NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank, immediately following our Sox coverage. And we head into the bottom of the 7th inning. Red Sox have a 1-run advantage. Tight game tonight from Fenway Park. Starters have been chased from this game as Alex Torres out there about to begin his 2nd inning of relief. Had a 6th inning that saw him strike out Carp, gave up a base hit to Saltalamacchia. He struck out Drew and then got Iglesias to fly out to center to end the 6th inning. So he's back out there to start the 7th. And again, a guy that Joe Madden will use for multiple innings. And here he is into his 2nd inning of relief and having to deal with the top of the Red Sox order. Shane Victorino, Daniel Nava, and Dustin Pedroia expected to bat. Anybody gets on, and Big Papi will have a chance. Victorino tonight has doubled and gone 1 for 3 in the game. Nine of 14 appearances for Torres have been more than an inning. He's allowed no runs in any of those outings as he misses here for ball 2, 2-0. Just 4 hits, 26 strikeouts in 19 2/3 innings. Well, we're throwing a lot of numbers at you about Torres, but he has been that good. His 2-0 pitch, and that will miss. 3-0.
And the Red Sox tonight scrapping out runs. Carp with a base hit to drive in a run. That double steal in the 3rd inning. Pedroia, Victorino. And then Pedroia with the sacrifice fly in the 5th for the 3 Red Sox runs.
There's a strike, 3-1. And at the bottom of the strike zone. Jim Hickey on the phone. Peralta had been up briefly, and it looks like we're going to get somebody back up again. To that 8th inning, and that's generally Peralta's area. Here's a pop-up right side of the infield. Coming from second is Ben Zobrist for the first out of the bottom of the 7th inning. I'll remind you to stay with NESN after the game for WB Mason Extra Innings Live. Hall of Famer Dennis Eckersley joins Tom Caron to break down the highlights, while Jenny will take us into the clubhouse for player reaction. WB Mason Extra Innings Live. You can't go wrong when you buy right. WB Mason.
Will it be Jenny Dell going into the clubhouse or a Jenny Dell bobblehead going into the clubhouse?
I believe it'll be the real Jenny Dell.
The real Jenny Dell.
Yes, going into the clubhouse.
There was a bobblehead night recently at Portland?
I believe it was Lowell.
Lowell?
1 out in the inning as Nava takes the strike. It was Lowell, Jerry.
Okay.
There's a look at it.
You think that looks like Jenny?
If you squint. The 1-0 miss, and it's 1-1. There's action now for the Rays, and it is not Peralta. Kyle Farnsworth and Jamie Wright closest to us, and a little further there in the back is Kyle Farnsworth. 1-1 is sky to center. Jennings tracks it. And Nava's retired for the 2nd out of the 7th inning. Two down for Dustin Pedroia. He's grounded out, been hit by a pitch, and a sac fly in the 5th inning, which is the difference in the game. As he flied out to right field, Nava scored. 58th RBI of the year for Pedroia. on the outside corner. Game 102 of the year for the Red Sox. 60 left to play after tonight's game. And Pedroia grounds one up the middle. Zobrist on the backhand. His throw is in time. Red Sox go in order in the 7th. We go to the 8th. 3-2 Red Sox. Coverage of Red Sox baseball is brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines, your Boston area Nissan dealers, Dunkin' Donuts, Sullivan Tire and Auto Centers, and by Subaru of New England. 3-2 Red Sox have the lead into the top of the 8th inning. Ben Zobrist leading it off here for Tampa Bay. That is strike one. Defensive change for the Red Sox. Johnny Gomes has taken over in left field for Mike Karp. Ben Zobrist 0 for 3 in the game tonight. Shinichi Tozawa getting the final out of the 7th inning in impressive fashion. He struck out Desmond Jennings on 3 pitches to end the 7th and back out there to start the 8th. Popped up foul. That'll reach the seats. Red Sox have further action in their pen. The left-hander Craig Breslow. Breslow pitching in last night's game. Got the guy at the plate right now, Ben Zobrist, to fly out. Tozawa's 1-2 pitch. Zobrist will foul off another. Baltimore trailing Kansas City tonight 3-1. They're in the 5th inning in KC. Orioles starting the night 2.5 games back of the Red Sox. And Baltimore playing good baseball. They've won 5 in a row and 8 of their last 10. They're trailing tonight so far as things are tightening up in the American League East. In the dirt, 2-2.
And things couldn't be more tight in this game right here. 3-2 ball game late in the game.
On the ground down the first baseline, foul. It seems so strange here. You think towards the end of the game now, Coach Uehara has done a very good job, but you begin the year with not one but 2 very good closers. And you see Joel Hanrahan in the clubhouse today, in fact, as he visited today, and of course lost for the year, and also Andrew Bailey lost for the year.
Now 2 guys that you expected to be the 8th and 9th inning guys on you both lost for the season. Uehara jumps into that closer role. I mean, everybody's role has changed in the bullpen.
This is off the top of the roof of the Red Sox dugout. Nobody went scampering though. It seems with the guys that are out there right now, it's kind of tough to figure out some of their roles just because they haven't been here.
I think it's probably a learning process also for John Farrell, the manager, right now. They're relying on guys, a lot of guys from Pawtucket who they've called up.
We know what that guy's role is.
And they hope to get to use him tonight.
Strike 3 call. Zobrist knew it. Takes with him the second strikeout for Tazawa.
A good pitch by Tazawa. He had been fastball split of that whole at bat to Ben Zobrist, and then he goes to the breaking ball. And that completely fools Zobrist. He knew it. Just makes his way back to the dugout. Amica Insurance is the proud sponsor of the Amica Pit Zone.
One down here in the 8th as Tazawa's got to wait. As it looks like Jose Lobaton has come in from the bullpen here for the Rays. So perhaps he'll be coming into the game. Molina has caught to this point of the game. 1 out. Here's Evan Longoria. And a swing and a miss for strike 1.
Starts Longoria off with a split-fingered fastball for the swing and miss.
Longoria homered to get the Rays closer with his 21st home run of the year, solo shot in the 6th inning. Tough numbers for Longoria against Tazawa. Swing and a miss. Good pitch.
Man, good idea keeping that fastball away from Longoria. If he's going to beat you with the long ball, it's going to have to be to the opposite field.
Swing and a miss. Foul tipped into the catcher's mitt. Saltalamacchia holds on. 3 straight strikeouts for Tazawa.
Yeah, 1 on a fastball, 1 on a breaking ball, and back to the fastball against Longoria. Again, keeping it away from him. Gets the swing and miss. You got to watch out for Myers here on the first pitch. He likes it, doesn't he?
He's jumped all over it all night against John Lester. First time he will face somebody else in this game. Against Lester, he had been 2 for 3 with a home run, a double, and he lined out sharply to left field in the first pitch. Well, he thought about it, but takes a strike over the outside corner.
That's a very generous strike there for Tazawa.
A little bit further out that time. 1-1.
Hey, might as well keep going out there, too, to see if they'll call it a strike.
Swing and a miss, 1-2. He stays out there again, this time at 94. They're giddy up on that.
Yeah, I love this approach he's taken against both the Longoria and Myers, keeping the ball away from them. Again, if they're going to beat you with the long ball, it's going to have to be to the opposite field.
Really the toughest part of this Rays order. 2, 3, and 4 for Tampa Bay here in the 8th. Fouled off, very protective swing, and back out there again to Myers. Out again. Two outs in the 8th inning, a 1-1 game from Fenway. Myers on the ground up the middle. Pedroia to his right, sidearm toss in time. Inning over. We head to the bottom of the 8th. 3-2 Red Sox. By Xfinity from Comcast. And the starters for this game, John Lester, pitcher of record right now on the winning side, ends up going 6 1/3, giving up 2 runs. Mike Carp, a 1-for-3 game, and Shane Victorino in the top spot in the Red Sox order, 1-for-4. But right now the game leading RBI belongs to Dustin Pedroia on a sac fly to right field. New pitcher for the Rays, their third of the night, is Jamie Wright. 43rd appearance, 2-1 with a 2.86 earned run average, 42 Ks to 15 walks, and opponents hitting at .213 against the right-hander. Takes over for Alex Torres, who pitched the 6th and 7th. It was pretty good. Gave up just 1 hit. Keeps the score right where it was at. David Ortiz, Mike Napoli, and Johnny Gomes expected to bat in the inning. A 2-for-3 night for Big Papi. Into the shift right side, Zobrist in short right. Throws out David Ortiz. Second time he has done that tonight with the shift on. Let's check in with Jenny.
Well, Don, with Pedroia on the verge of signing an extension, we asked fans at home the most exciting part of Pedroia's game, and here are some of the best tweets brought to you by AT&T. From the 401 says he shows heart, fight, leadership, and accountability. Next we have there's no questioning his toughness. He gives 125% effort on every play. His uniform will be in the Hall of Fame one day. And Bellavita said he doesn't just wear the Boston B, he represents the Boston B with love and honor. Well said. Don?
All right, Jenny, thanks very much. Pitching change here as Kyle Farnsworth makes his way in. Jamie Wright heads out. The Rays 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 4th pitcher of the night used by Joe Madden. It's Kyle Farnsworth, a veteran into his 34th game. 2-0. 16 strikeouts to 7 walks. Opponents hitting at .282 against Farnsworth. Napoli looks at strike 1. Farnsworth, who still throws hard. His last 18 appearances has had a nifty 1.72 earned run average. He's given up only 3 earned runs in 15 2/3 innings pitched. And is ahead of Napoli, 0-2. He's a 15-year veteran. He's pitched in 844 career games now. 3rd most among active pitchers. And this is his 3rd season now with Tampa Bay. Kind of yanks it outside for ball 1, 1-2.
And 96 on the last fastball from Farnsworth.
In the air to center field, struck well. Jennings going back onto the track at the wall. It's off the 379 marker. With a kick to Sean Rodriguez as Napoli heads into second base with a one-out double.
Second hit of the night for Napoli. Had a base hit back in the second inning. Looked like a slider that time. After a 96-mile-an-hour fastball to the breaking ball goes Farnsworth. And Napoli takes it off that center field wall. Nice job hanging in there that time by Napoli and providing some pop out towards center field. Jennings thought he had a track on it, just runs out of real estate.
So a one-out double. Red Sox looking to obtain some insurance here in the 8th inning. And Johnny Gomes with his first at bat of the night. Mike Carp in this spot had been 1 for 3 with a single, 2 strikeouts. Gomes took over defensively last inning in left field. Let's take ball 1. Good pick on the backhand by Molina.
And Molina going way across his body to keep that ball from going to the backstop.
Gomes lines it into left field, a base hit. Rodriguez gets to it quickly, and holding at third will be Napoli. Was hit so sharply, get to the left fielder very quickly, but a base hit gets Napoli to third.
Yeah, that ball was in Sean Rodriguez's glove before Napoli even reached third base. There was no chance of sending him home there. Ball rifled into left field by Johnny Gomes, and you can see right there Rodriguez has it. Napoli still 2-3 steps from third base.
Gomes up to this point had had no success against Farnsworth in his career. Had been 0 for 7 against Farnsworth. But a base hit there. As Jim Hickey on the phone to the bullpen again. First and third, 1 out. And a chance here for Jared Saltalamacchia to add to the Red Sox lead. Been on base 3 times in the game tonight. A walk, a double, and a single. It's jammed and fouls it off to the left out of play. Napoli at third base. Gomes across the diamond at first base. And Cesar Ramos is warming in the bullpen now for the Rays. Saltalamacchia 1 for 6 in his career against Farnsworth. He fouls this one off himself and goes down.
Couldn't tell exactly where that got Saltalamacchia. Was it the left foot? Looks that way.
Mentioned Salty's 1 for 6 against Farnsworth. That one was a home run. First and third, 1 down. Here's an 0-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Elevated the fastball at 96, and Saltalamacchia is still hobbling as he leaves the box. It's out number 2 of the inning.
Well, you're right, Don. Elevating that fastball up and away from Saltalamacchia, and Saltalamacchia is still hurting as he took that swing and limps back to the Red Sox dugout after fouling the ball off his foot.
2 outs for Stephen Drew. 0 for 3 in the game out of the 8th spot. Flying out to center, grounding out to first, and striking out. Drew hits one into right field. From third base comes Napoli. He'll score. From first to third goes Gomes, and the Red Sox obtain some insurance and take a 4-2 lead. A big base hit for Stephen Drew in the 8th.
Huge base hit there by Drew to give the Red Sox a 2-run cushion going into the 9th inning. Looks like a spin or a cut fastball that time that he rifles off the glove of Loney. That ball hit very hard by Drew, so you've had 3 balls hit hard in this inning. The one by Napoli, Gomes, and now Drew. And the Red Sox have the 4-2 lead.
Uehara up in the bullpen. And for the Rays, coming up in the 9th inning, expected Matt Joyce, Yunel Escobar, and James Loney. 5, 6, and 7 inside the Tampa Bay order. And a chance for more runs here. It's been a quiet night at the plate for Jose Iglesias. He's grounded out twice and flied out. There goes Drew at first. A pitch that's going to miss for a ball. No throw from Molina. And Stephen Drew steals second base.
Not going to take the chance of opening up a hole by making one of those middle infielders cover second base. As they just let Drew walk into second with the steal.
Two and 0. In there for a strike, 2-1. 96 on the fastball from Farnsworth. Gomes at third, Drew at second, with 2 outs and a run in here in the bottom of the 8th. Chopper that gets up over Longoria, knocked down at short. Runner score, maybe another. Here comes Drew. Throw to the plate will be not in time as it gets away, and the Red Sox add 2 more. And now to third goes Iglesias. Red Sox take a 6-2 lead, and the complexion of this one has changed in a heartbeat.
What a strange play that was. A big high bounce by Iglesias up over the head of Longoria down at third base. Escobar could not keep that ball in the infield, and once it gets away from him, Drew comes around. He's going to go back and tag home plate. Then he's called safe, and Iglesias moves on to third base. I don't think Drew ever got home plate. First he's calling safe, but until he goes back and tags it, that's when the umpire called him safe.
Now a pitch in there for strike 1 to Shane Victorino. So a base hit for Iglesias as it works out. He gets credit for 2 RBIs. Takes second on the throw, and then an error is charged to Escobar. It's the first error in 54 games now for Escobar on the throw as it gets Iglesias to third base. This is in the dirt. So that breaks up a pretty incredible errorless streak going for the Rays shortstop. What an inning this has been, and 2 of these runs coming with 2 outs in the inning.
A strange way to get an error too on a throw to home.
Victorino with a swing and a miss on a pitch down and in. No longer a save situation. Uehara still warming in the pen. Inside, that straightens up Victorino, just eluding that pitch. On the ground to first base. Loney has got it. He'll run to the bag to tag it and end the inning, but what an inning it was. The Red Sox able to come up with 3 runs to take a 6-2 lead.
Was outstanding. Him coming in to bridge that gap was just fabulous with strikeouts tonight. You know, he got some power hitters up in a key part of the ball game. It was a 1-run game. Kept the ball away from them. It was not going to allow to be beaten on the inside part of the plate. Very impressed with that performance tonight.
So the Red Sox a much needed win here tonight. It's a fun series. Red Sox and Rays still have 2 games left in the series. NESN's postgame coverage of the Sox begins right after the game with WB Mason Extra Innings Live. Hall of Famer Dennis Eckersley joins Tom Karen to break down the game, and Jenny breaks down the reaction from the players. WB Mason's Extra Innings Live. You can't go wrong when you buy right. WB Mason. 6-2. Red Sox have the lead. Jose Iglesias with a 2-run base hit. He's given the Red Sox some breathing room. On top by 4 runs now. No longer a save situation. Uehara on to finish this off. His 47th appearance, a 1.62 earned run average. In save opportunities, he is 9 out of 12. And Matt Joyce leads it off for Tampa Bay. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Nice job by Tazawa tonight. He goes an inning into third. Strikes out 3 of the 4 batters he faced. One pitch will miss, and it is 1-1.
I was very impressed with Tazawa in this game tonight. Anybody that could beat him with a long ball, what did he do? Kept the ball away from him.
Swing and a miss, 2-2.
That splitter right there from Uehara to run the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bottom of the strike zone, dipping out of the strike zone.
He also worked in Sunday night's game against New York. 1 hit, 2 strikeouts in a scoreless 9th inning. Not allowed an earned run in any of his 10 appearances in the month of July. Turning to 3rd innings. 3-2. And a swing and a miss. Good way to start the 9th. That was the 12th strikeout of the night for Red Sox pitching.
Uehara going up and away, maybe away out of the strike zone that time, but the swing by Joyce for the first out of the inning.
Well, Lester had 8 Ks, Tazawa 3. Uehara strikes out the first batter he faces. Here's Yanel Escobar, 0 for 3 in the game tonight. And a fly ball to right field. Nava moves over. 2 down in the 9th. No home runs tonight for the Red Sox, keeping their season total at 103 with Hess and Hess Express donating $500 to the Red Sox Foundation for every Sox home run. The donation stands at $51,500. Our thanks to Hess and Hess Express, committed to helping the cause. 2 outs in the 9th inning. James Loney, the batter. Pitch hitters come out on deck if we get that far, as Luke Scott would bat for Molina. And this would be the 9th victory of the year for John Lester. He bet his record to 9-6 on the year. Bullpen has helped him out as well, as this pitch will drop in for strike 1.
Very rare curveball that time from Uehara.
James Loney with a single back in the 2nd inning, a 1 for 3 night. Tomorrow night will be a battle of lefties. Felix Dubron against David Price. The 1-1. He fouls it back, and the Rays are down to their last strike. Fenway Park will stand as one with 2 down in the 9th inning. They struck him out, and the Red Sox win. Well, a complete effort tonight for the Red Sox as they beat the Rays in a game they needed to have. Just a half game between the two coming into this game tonight, and the Red Sox able to get the victory. A 6-2 win for Boston, as we send it to Tom Caron.